Alright guys, welcome to another episode of, or first episode really, of a walkthrough, state of a game, review, first look, whatever you want to call it. Myself, Victim from Victim Gaming. I'm joined by an icon, but that icon is actually John Wayne. Underneath our...
Hey guys.
Sorry about that, John. Underneath our pictures are our YouTubes, if you guys want to go check them out. And click follow, subscribe, like, whatever you want to do. But today we're going to get right into it. Today we're looking at DayZ. Just released, what was it, John, about a week or so ago?
Yeah, no, about a week ago.
And this is still in alpha stage. As you can see here in the front screen, it has a warning basically saying, hey, you bought this and it's still in quite a bit of development. So
What they really want you to know is that it's full of bugs, and they actually want you to kind of report them for them so they can start working on them.
right, so it's kind of a cool thing, but at the same time, I have another video about how I'm not really a big fan of paying to help a developer out. I think that should be a free service kind of thing. But that aside, it is what it is, and we're gonna get into it. So let me go ahead and jump in game. John, I can join you off Steam, right?
Yeah, you should be able to join me off Steam. If you look at Steam servers too, you should be able to find servers with friends in it
Oh,
also.
that's right. So right at the top here, you go to play, you see all your servers. You have favorites, you can favorite a server, history, whichever server you've played in, and friends. So I've got, oh, ill server. Those guys are in here. They're on here all the time. And I'm gonna join the one that John's in. So just a little bit intro about me. I am an FPS gamer. I've been gaming for about 10 years or so, a little bit more than that. John, if you want to go into your experience.
I am a PS enthusiast too, but also, I've been gaming since I had an NES in my house at 3 years old, so extensive gaming, experience. Didn't go PC until I was about, 15 though. So a good 6 years ago.
Alright, so now that I'm loaded up into the game, also, John has extensive experience with WarZ. So that's a good reason why he's here, because this is my first look. I've played for a couple hours to get a feel for it before I did the video, and John's got tons of experience back in WarZ, so he has a good comparison of experience.
Yeah, WarZ was another game that came in with a lot of hype, and it kind of rode the hype that the DayZ mod had created. So, I played a ton of that, got that in what you might call a pre-alpha state, but they officially labeled it as a beta. Um, played that extensively, and it ended up having a lot of the same features and bugs that I'm seeing right now with DayZ, even though DayZ's, only a week out.
Alright, so this is what the world looks like. It doesn't have a map in it. I wish it did. I wish it just had like an overlay to say, something you can look at, and once you have a compass, you can figure out where you are, kind of. But sorry, go ahead, John.
And that's the thing about the maps is, even if you do find a map, you can only really figure out where you are based off of figuring out where certain geographic items in the map are. And it can be extremely difficult at times because a lot of the places, well, they look the same.
Yeah, and the town names and whatnot are not in a they're not in English language. I don't know if they're in another language.
It looks like they're in Russian. I'm pretty positive they're in Russian or Ukrainian or something. One of those Baltic areas.
We probably should have looked that one up.
It might have helped. It might have made us look a little better.
Alright, so I'm already getting chased by a zombie here. You can outrun them, so that's pretty much what I do. You can also hide from them. The settings and controls in this game are, in my opinion, not very user friendly. Once I get to a safe location away from the zombie, I'll load them up and show them to you guys.
Yeah, the control system, they tended not to go away from the Arma 2 controls they had initially set up for the DayZ mod. Seems like they're kind of relying heavily on how they originally set it all up. I mean, even placing a separate stand-up key from your prone and your crouch button.
Right, so this is the control menu. Finally got the zombie off my back. You've got an extensive, you've got here, let me show you. So you've got all these different menus, and then within each menu, there's a complete button list. So your keyboard is essentially completely used. Which to me is not it's not very user friendly. It's not a big UI.
The other thing you'll notice is there's no individual buttons for sprinting, no individual buttons for jumping. They have a vault mechanic, and your sprinting can be utilized by double-clicking your forward button.
And basically, the overview of the game, John. What is the point right now of DayZ?
The overall purpose of DayZ, the DayZ mod, WarZ, it's to survive. It's to loot hunt too. It's a loot grinding game. Survive. You know, there's PvP aspects, but it's really difficult to get in the same area as buddies to be able to go. You know, find some people to fight. It's got a long ways to work to really establish itself in its purpose.
So right now, when you go around, here's a banana right here, and it's rotten, but you need food. So, and here's some ammo. I'm not gonna pick it up now just because I don't have a book bag. And this is what you start out at. In the main menu, you can choose. You go through and you can change your character to male, female, different skin tones. But then once you come in here, you just basically the clothes on your back, and you gotta find everything from axes to crowbars, bats. And that's a big issue right now that I've found is I know a lot of more experienced WarZ guys that they just know the map for like the back of their hand. They know where all the good items are and where to go. But for someone like myself, just starting out, I don't know this building from that building or this town from that town. And so it's extremely boring for me because in the couple hours that I have played, you basically run around, try and scavenge items, eat a bunch of rotten fruit, and then if you don't bleed out because you got bit by a zombie or something, that's basically it. You just run and get items.
And that's kind of the purpose early on in the game, is to run around, find items. The PvP is very non-existent at the moment. And even just, you know, trying to survive the zombies AI are so clunky, and your animations are so clunky that it's almost impossible to get in a combat situation with a zombie without getting yourself hurt. You end up spending a lot of your time just running.
And there you guys just saw one of the glitches, the mini glitches in the game where a zombie just goes right through a wall.
Through walls, through doors. I'm right now stuck in an animation trying to eat a banana while a zombie was coming up on me.
So there is obviously it's an alpha. Obviously there's a lot that will be fixed, and obviously those glitches should be fixed before a full release. But again, that was kind of back to my one point about paying them to help them develop a game.
And that's something I agree on too, you know, paying for a company to go through their process of fixing their bugs to come out with a usable product makes it kind of defeats the purpose of selling the game. You know, if they come out and at any time, it really gives them the opportunity to say, hey, What you guys bought was the pre-alpha. You didn't buy the actual game. Now you have to buy the game.
Right, and I don't think that they will do that. But say Arma Alpha, you paid $90 almost to just be a part of an open text file alpha, and it just got overran with hackers right away. And I think it's in the beta stage now. I stopped playing it because of all the hackers. Or you could be like Call of Duty Ghosts, which right now is a fully released game, and it's overrun with hackers.
That was a big thing in War Z was, hackers were running rampant. The beginnings of War Z, there was no punk buster, there was no anti-cheat client, and they would just ban on assumptions that people were doing things wrong. You saw mass bans, a lot of people getting banned for doing nothing while the hackers were still running rampant on that game.
Now, that kind of brings up another topic of privatized servers, co-op. Right now, John's in the same server as I am, and I have absolutely no way of finding him. The only way is if he knew exactly where the spawn point was, and oh, here comes a zombie, I'm gonna run. And was able to meet me. But as you can see on how long it takes to run around this map from one building to another, it could take him an hour, at least an hour, to get from one side of the map to the other.
It would actually probably take longer than that. This is a massive map. The map that was on the original DayZ mod was also massive. It's a huge island. To get across the entire one is a task in itself. You would spend an entire day just trying to get around all the crevices in this game. And without even when they provide the map for you, as I was saying before, it's really hard to tell where you are, what landmarks are, because there's no defining features of those landmarks.
Oh, and this stinks. I found a 70% full canteen, and I can't use it because I don't have any space for it.
You always got those depressing moments, and that's an area where the game can shine, is making you make tough choices of what you want in your inventory and what you got to drop. War Z had a global inventory system that I think kind of defeated some of the purpose of the game, where people could run to a safe point and store things away permanently forever, so they could spawn back up with something at any time. You know, I'm hoping that DayZ doesn't run into that area, but playing it with a group that I was playing with, we ended up doing a lot of just loot runs. We'd find loot, store loot, and run back.
Yeah, and here's another one of those glitches where there's an item right here above me on a bookcase of some sort, and yet when I push tab it says nothing's in my vicinity. So hopefully, I'm sure that'll be one of the first things they fix, along with the zombies glitching through walls and whatnot.
Zombies glitch through everything, by the way. They glitch through walls. I've shut doors on zombies, and zombies will still end up in the building with me. The other funny thing that I've found is zombies can't go upstairs. They try to walk upstairs and glitch right through the bottom of it.
And speaking of stairs, a lot of what I've noticed is doors. If you have a door that's on top of a staircase, I haven't been able to open them. So
Oh, here I go. Found a map.
It'll show the animation, and the symbols will change, like open and close, but it won't actually allow you into the room. Also, a sound bug right now is everything sounds like a gunshot. So
Swing an axe, swing a shovel. Sounds like a gunshot went right by your head.
And she doesn't want to run. Oh, they don't run up hills. That's right. I forgot about that. What do you think about potential for the depth of the game, man? Where do you see? Obviously, right now, it's my personal opinion for a first view at the game that there's really no point to it. I know a lot of the older players, the War Z guys, love it. They're obviously they made a whole game out of it, so it has some sort of addictive personality to it.
Well, there's always a ton of potential in this game and areas they could go to. For me, what I've always wanted in the game is to, yes, there's no depth, but we could always, fake depth. And we could provide things that would really randomize each player's experience every time they jump on. We add on we add on dynamic weather systems. We add on a crafting system, hunting abilities. You go out and you hunt, elk, or uh, you hunt some pack of wolves is hunting you. Make things a little more random, make it more than just the players to worry about and the zombies to worry about. On top of that, making a crafting system, making things relevant. You have a gun, but you want a silencer. So what you do is you drink a can of soda. You have a duct tape with you too, and you duct tape the can on your gun. Now you have a silencer for 10 shots. It has some durability on it. We can always portray, fake some depth in the game that would make it a lot of fun.
Now, it's my understanding that with the private servers that are coming up, they're going to be able to create missions. Was that something on Warzy?
Warzy was trying to implement some type of mission thing, but it looked like it was more of just going to be kind of a bounty thing or pick up some loot for you. Um, Mission-wise, it becomes really difficult because there's no overall arcing story. So you're gonna end up finding a lot of find this loot, find this find this guy and kill him, or clear out this area of zombies is what I'm expecting to come out of it. If they could start mixing things up though and actually implement some friendly AI, have a little shelter with a couple friendly AI, and they have a little bit of a, tiny arcing story within it. Hey, my daughter's trapped here. Could you go get her or help her, or, things like that could, increase the amount of depth, replayability in the game, because you're always going to have some type of missions to do for you. But for War Z, they really didn't utilize that mission capability that they had that they were kind of pushing for.
Now, along those lines, that brings up an interesting thought to me. I know for me, for me to be interested in a game, I have to have a reason. I have to have a goal, somewhere to go, something to strive for. And even something like that, to where it was set up in sections, where like you start on the southern side of the map. Oh, there's a zombie. So you start up in the southern side of the map, and say there's bridges or gates that you have to go through to get up to the north side of the map where all the best loot is, and it gets better as you go. And along the way, you have to, complete this mission, or you have to get this one item in order to get through this gate. That way, by the time you get to the top, you're able to survive, and you're I don't know. The zombies get tougher. The people that are there have better equipment, save points. To say, okay, if I die at this point, then I'm only gonna go back to that gate with that equipment.
I I like the idea of kind of setting up a system somewhat to that, but I would do more of a half measure on that. I wouldn't set up a full leveling system or a full anything like that, because then you'd start to end up like Dead Island. I don't know if anyone played Dead Island, but as you went through each part of the storyline, you leveled up your character. Your character could only use certain weapons if they were a certain level. You had guns that would, be more powerful just because they were a higher level. And it brings away some of the realism. I think if you bring in more realism, make it so people can get lost in
What
the
the
realism of the game, that would be better. So I wouldn't go, fully into that, but I would add it to a point where, what, this section of the island, it's going to be a little bit more tougher. You're going to find more zombies. You're going to, the weather conditions are going to be harsher. The loot's going to be harder to find, but the loot will be more rewarding when you find it. Um, you know, changing up the different types of zombies. You'll have walkers, you'll have runners, you'll have mobs. You'll have like, if anyone's watched The Walking Dead, you'll see a walking mass of zombies. Just roamers. They roam in giant groups. Adding in these giant groups into things. Uh, Mixing it up and making it more difficult in a certain section of island, but there's no level system, so you can jump into that section at any time you want to.
Right, and as you were talking, people were able to see I just got attacked by two zombies that morphed through a door and wall, and then they pushed me through a door or through a wall, and then they followed me into a garage and did it again. So a little buggy, and then of course now I've got to go around and try and find band-aids somewhere before I bleed out. And
The,
once you bleed out, you go unconscious, and you're unconscious for about 45 minutes, unless you want to respawn, which then you lose all your items. Which at this point I wouldn't really care about because I don't have much. But later on in the game, when you have your rifles and you have your ammo, it's gonna be really tough to just I gotta take a break for 45 minutes.
yeah, and that's always gonna be an issue. I actually found the first time I went unconscious in this game, I found I walked away from it, went and did something else. Watched some Netflix, came back, and you know what? I was still unconscious, and it wasn't gonna revive me at any time or point, so I was forced to respawn. So there's some buggy issues with that, and there's some concept issues with that. War Z had it set up where you had 5 character profiles, so if one died, yeah, you have to wait an hour, but you can jump on another character profile while you're waiting for that one.
And as you see, as I'm hurt and I'm bleeding out, the screen, the video quality starts to gray and get closer to unconsciousness. So it does have some interesting stuff and a little bit of audio, like the guys moaning or girls moaning, I guess. Now the night portion of this, it does go on a 24-hour real-time clock. Right now we're playing on a daytime server because, well, you can't really see much at night other than a flashlight.
I'm actually not too excited about the 24-hour daytime setup. It's just, War Z, that was something I did like about War Z, was a daytime and nighttime was not actually set to real time. And you'll find yourself, you'll jump on a server and it's night all the entire time that you're on. You'll be on for 3 hours of continuous nighttime. And yeah, it adds to realism, but you know, you want to be able to play during some light. Personally, that's what I prefer. I don't know about other people. That's just a personal opinion on it.
Now, I just went unconscious and I chose to respawn, and it's still on the please wait. I've tried it twice now. I don't know if I'm being impatient, but it says ready default, scene ready, testing 1 2 3, and it seems to be just stuck on a please wait. Did you experience that?
I did experience that before. Ended up having to just exit out of the server altogether.
Okay. Well then, we'll go ahead and start wrapping it up then. So since I don't really have much else to show you as far as gameplay right now, um, for an alpha, my personal opinion is, I think it's okay. I think that there's a lot to work on. It's not really my style again because it doesn't have the purpose that I'm looking for, the depth. I'm hoping that with private servers, it will bring that, but I would prefer it to be an overall game objective, and then private servers can tweak it or twist it the way they want it to be or change whatever. So that's my own personal opinion. I think it has a good potential, especially if it's just at this point I think it's going to be finding the server, searching through a bunch of servers until you find one that's got the game set up that you want to play. So that's my thoughts on it. And for $30, I think it's a little bit much for a basically a glitchy, uh, whatever. It is a broken game right now, so you're paying $30 for a broken game, and I don't think that's right. But obviously, John, what were the numbers on that?
You know, the numbers for the sales on that was 171,000 sold on the first day. I can tell you all right now that most of those people did not read the little disclaimer saying that this was for people who wanted to help them develop the game. But that sold them 5.1 million on the first day that this game came out. So there is a ton of potential. They're obviously going to put a lot of work into it because they've already produced the revenue for it. You know, and it's also great for the market because if you look at the market, you know, big studios are going to see that 171,000 sold on one day. There is a massive audience for it. So I would actually expect to see an actual third-party studio, you know, full studio looking at this style of game within the next, you know, year or so.
Yeah, definitely, and it's kind of funny to think that this started out as a mod, and then it's gonna turn into probably another mod or two or three.
And
Once the
it
big.
was an extremely popular mod. It was all over the internet when it came out.
So, any final words?
No, I mean if you want to help out with the game development, you're all for it for getting it. If you're looking for the game to actually be playable and fun, don't I wouldn't touch it for a little while. I'd give it some time.
Yeah, definitely. I know I got it the very first day it came out, and like you said earlier, I thought it was a full release. That's what everyone was saying it was. Like, oh, DayZ's standalone's out. You got to get DayZ standalone. So I was thinking, okay, this is a sweet game, and then I didn't read that until I opened up the game and saw that right there on the very front screen of, no, guys, this is this is broken. So deal with it, and I hope that you stick around to play the real game. But yeah, I think it has a lot of good potential. Hopefully, you guys found what we just did informative. We tried to keep it short and sweet without going all over the place. Sorry that it ended up on a black screen with a please wait. I don't want to waste any of your time with my voice and ugly face. But again, check out our other videos. John's starting up his YouTube again. He he deleted a bunch of videos, so check out some of my other product reviews. I've been trying to keep new content going, so check it out. Subscribe, follow. I'm also on a subscriber and follower drive, so check out my Twitch. There's more information there on that.
All right, guys. Looks like that's a wrap.
All right, take care, guys. See you soon.